Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to go over how to onboard a vEdge router in Cisco's SD-WAN. And this specifically is for a lab environment or a locally hosted SD-WAN environment. If your SD-WAN is in the cloud, it's actually going to be a lot easier. You're pretty much just going to plug in the vEdge and let it run. But if you're trying to lab this up, you're going to need to know how to do it. Not exactly manually, but you need to know how to do a skinny config and generate the bootstrap configuration and all that stuff. So this is my environment. I have my vManage, vSmart, vBond, and then I have some vEdges here. What we're going to do is, I already have some of these up and running. We're going to onboard vEdge 4. So let me see if I don't have a console session to it yet. So I'll open up a console session to it. And you can see this is booting for the first time. System is ready. So we can log in with admin. And you must set an initial password. So I'm just going to reset it as admin. So now that it's up, we need to do a couple things first. And specifically what we need to do is go to the vManage and go to devices. And I have 10 vEdges and 10 CSRs that I provisioned. So you'll need to do this in your plug and play account. You need to provision the devices and upload the WAN edge list. If you don't have a plug and play account, sorry, unfortunately, there's no way to actually lab SD-WAN. So if you do have it and you've updated your WAN list, you can go to vEdge, available vEdge cloud. Right click here, generate bootstrap config. Do it as cloud init. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just download this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it vEdge 4. And I'm going to open it with, if I can get there, edit with Notepad++. Okay. So we are going to need this file. So go ahead and exit that. Now we can see here that the bootstrap configuration has been generated. So now what we need to do is go down to the vEdge and make some changes. And I'm sorry, well, hopefully it's not that bad to see. It doesn't look awful. So what I'm going to do is first give it an initial configuration, and then I'll install the certificates and activate the device. So we're going to just do config. Conft does not work on a vEdge. And then we have to go into system mode. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the host name. And for this one, I'm just going to call it vEdge 4. Then we're going to set the system IP. And this is kind of like a router ID. It doesn't actually have to be a reachable address. My site ID is, I'm going to do site 4. Organization name, this is my organization name. This has to be globally unique. So if you set up your organization name, well, you'll notice this in the plug and play portal, but it has to be a globally unique name. Oops, sorry. I'm going to set the clock time zone because the certificates do have to match. So I'm in the East time zone in the United States, and I'm going to set my vBond. With the vBond in my lab is this, which does look like a public IP, but as you saw, it's just in my GNS3. So you wouldn't actually be able to get there from the internet. And I'm just going to commit just to make sure everything works fine. So now that we have our system config, what we need to do is create our VPN configs. Now, there are 2 VPNs that we have to configure. The first one is going to be VPN 0. And when I say VPN, it honestly means VRF. So if you're familiar with VRFs, it's the same thing. Vitella just uses the terminology VPN. So VPN 0 is actually going to be our underlay for transit. So I'm going to take out Ethernet 0 because that's in VPN 0 by default. I'm going to add GE00, which is my underlay transport. I'm going to give it an IP address. 104.4. I'm going to create it as a tunnel interface. I have to do the encapsulation of IPsec. I have to allow service all, and specifically what we're doing is, I don't need to put in these commands because all, but we're allowing netconf and we're also allowing SSHD because those are the two ways that we're going to configure the devices. And I need to know shut. And then what I need to do is I need to, in VPN 0, so you can see I'm still in VPN 0 mode, is I need to set a default route. So what we'll do is IP route 0000/0 and 192.168.104.254 is my next hop IP for the default route. Now, what I need to do is go into VPN 512. VPN 512 is the management VRF or VPN. We don't actually have to configure anything. We have to configure something. It doesn't need to actually be functioning. So I'm just going to set the interface to a DHCP client. Now we can commit all those changes and exit. So now that this is set up, we're still not active. What we need to do is get the information from the this file, and specifically the UUID and OCP. Now I'm going to let you know that what we need to do with this UUID, and I fought with this for a little while, is let's go over to the vBond, and I just want to show you something really quick. So if we do show orchestrator valid vEdges, we'll get a list, and this one is going to start with CD. So it looks like this one here is CD0. CD0. So you'll notice that in the orchestrator, this is in all caps. This makes a difference. You'll struggle. I struggled with this for a while. Couldn't figure out why my vEdges weren't authenticating to the vBond, and it was because this is in all caps, even though we got this from vManage. So what I'll do is I'll just go in here, make it uppercase, and we'll use that in a second. But I just want to make note of that in the vBond. So what we have to do now on our vEdge is go into vShell, and I need to copy. So I'm going to SCP admin at 199.111. This is my vManage home admin rootca.pen. Now, where did this come from? Let me just this and install it. rootca.pen. Now, if I go into my vManage and I go into the vShell ls, you can see I have all these rootca.key, rootca.pem, my vBond certs, whatever. So I'm using the Cisco vManage. If we go in here, go to settings, I'm using enterprise for certificate authentication for the controllers, and for WAN edge authorization, it's automated. I'm actually doing this all manually within the vManage. So, so I have my rootca here on the vManage, and that's why I SCP'd to it and copied it here, SCP, that's my vManage IP address, and now I'm copying it locally. So now what I need to do is I need to request, sorry, I believe it's root cert chain. And here we're just gonna, it's an install. And here we just specify the path. So it's actually local. So I'll just go home, admin, root ca.pen. Now we've successfully installed the root certificate chain. Now, that being said, we still have one more step we need to do. We need to, and here's where the UUID and the OTP are going to come in. So what we do is request vEdge cloud activate, and what we're going to activate is chassis number, which is the UUID. So let me grab this UUID, copy, paste, and then token is the OTP. Copy, paste. All right. So this will take a few minutes, but if we do show control connections, we can see that vBond and vManage are already up. Let me see if I can make that a little nicer to look at. Went down for a second. That's why it takes a few minutes. It actually authenticates to the vManage and then to the vBond and then vBond. But that's all right. It'll take a few minutes. So while it's doing that, let's go to devices, and we can see our vEdge 4 has already started to authenticate. It's not completely in sync yet, but like I said, it takes a few minutes. So what I could do is I could pause the video, and when it comes back up, I'll just show you what it looks like. So hold on one moment. And it turns out it was totally unnecessary for me to pause the video, because as soon as I check the control connections again, it's up. So we could see the vBond, vSmart, vBond, vManage, up, and we're good to go. So if we go back into vManage, now I have my WAN edge sites are up, vEdge 4 is up. Now I can start pushing templates to it. So that's it for this video. On the next one, I'll try to do a cEdge, which is a Cisco IOS XC router that is running SD-WAN. But that's all for setting up a vEdge in Cisco's SD-WAN.